Okay, so this is the last concept we were going to discuss on this chapter, and it's about information, questions, and tag questions. So when we ask questions, right? Preguntas de información y de confirmación. So let's get started. When we use tag questions, so this is basically when we're, for example, confirming something, information, and then we're going to add something at the end. So this is a tag question. Erika habla francés? No, right? We're asking, Erika speaks French, doesn't she? We know that she does, but we are confirming that. There's also a negative statement, and we can also use a tag word. In this case, we're going to use right, verdad. No tenemos clase mañana, ¿verdad? So this is a negative statement. We don't have class tomorrow, right? And again, we know the information already. We're just confirming what we already know. And we can use tag words. No, ¿verdad? So this is one way to ask a question. And then they're called preguntas de confirmación. The other group is when we need information. This is not just we're not going to confirm, we're not confirming, we need more information. And so this is a question that will require information from the person or who we're talking to. And so let's see. There's several of interrogative words that we are going to use to get this information. ¿Cómo? That's how. Sometimes what? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo es tu compañero de cuarto? So we want to know how this person is doing. Next one. ¿Cuál o cuáles? Which ones? Here, we want to know what's the title or which one is the title of that novel. Or the titles of several or favorite novels. Your favorite novels. ¿Cuándo? That's when. ¿Cuándo es la clase de historia? So when is the history class? Everything needs more than just, this is not like a yes or no answer. We're going to need information after we receive this question. They all have question marks at the beginning, and they all have an accent. Okay, all of them. Okay, there's more. ¿Cuánto o cuánta? ¿Cuántos? ¿Cuántas? That means how much or how many. ¿Cuántos libros necesitamos? How many books do we need? ¿Dónde? That's where. ¿Dónde está mi pluma? So where is my pen? ¿De dónde? This talks about origin. From where? Where are you from? ¿De dónde eres? For example. ¿De dónde eres? ¿A dónde? This is the one that we already saw when we were talking about the verb to go. This is kind of like gives you an idea of movement. You are going somewhere. So, ¿a dónde? To where? Like your destination. ¿A dónde vas? Where are you going? More. We have more. ¿Por qué? Why? Why? You know, why something is the way it is. ¿Por qué estás tan triste? Why are you so sad? ¿Qué? That's the basic translation for what? It's ¿qué? ¿Qué aprendes en la clase de español? What do you learn in the Spanish class? ¿Quién o quiénes? This is talking about people. This is going to be who, okay, or whom. So, ¿quién tiene el libro? Who has the book? Usually, it's about people. ¿De quiénes? So, whose. ¿De quién or de quiénes? ¿De quién es la mochila negra? Whose backpack of this? Whose this black backpack is this? Okay, so who's the owner, basically? And another one, ¿con quién? Also talking about, normally it's about people. ¿Con quiénes? With whom. ¿Con quién vas a la fiesta? So, with whom do you go to the party? With whom do you go to the party? And so those are the most common interrogative words. Let's see now the difference between qué and cuál. Okay? Qué versus cuál. Many times they both mean what, but in Spanish they kind of spread a little bit more and they branch out a little bit more. So qué, that's the what. Okay? So qué. When we use qué, we are after something. We want a definition, identification, or classification. That's why we have to use, or when we have to use qué. For example, ¿qué es la química? What is chemistry? ¿Qué es la química? And then an answer would be, it's the study of the elemental composition of matter. So, es el estudio de la composición de la materia. That's the definition of chemistry. ¿Qué es la química? Always about definition, identification, or classification. Like, what is this? Identification in this case. What is this? It's a phone. Es un teléfono. Okay? But cuál, it's a little bit different. Cuál talks about which one. So basically it refers to a selection of among several things. And so that's when we're gonna have to use cuál. It's always about a selection. So here my question is, which is the prettiest flower of all? In English we can also say, what's the prettiest flower, right? We do. But in Spanish, we cannot use qué. We have to use cuál, because cuál is about selection. And we know that there's so many different flowers in this world, the names, right? And the categories. And so we have to use cuál. ¿Cuál es la flor más bonita? Or it's always more than one selection. So a selection of things, one, two, not more than one, basically. Here, we want to know which sport do you prefer, soccer or basketball. And so, ¿cuál prefieres? ¿El fútbol o el básquetbol? You know, among two sports, which one do you prefer the most? Or do you like better? And so, okay, like here, ¿cuál? Sometimes translated into English as what, but logically still means which. A good example of this, it would be a name. In English, we can say, what's your name? What is your name, right? In Spanish, we have to say, ¿cuál es tu nombre? We cannot say, ¿qué es tu nombre? It has to be, ¿cuál? Why? Because if we think about it, there's so many different names in this world, right? And so only one belongs to a person, or two, if it's some person has a first name and a middle name. But so because there's a huge selection of different names, we need to ask the question, ¿cuál es tu nombre? And then we're gonna receive an answer like, oh, my name is, I don't know, Juan, or Miguel, or Vicente, right? And so, of all possible names, which one is yours? Okay? If we were to ask, ¿qué es tu nombre? Like translated literally, like from English to Spanish, we will be meaning, what is the definition of your name? And that's not what we're asking. we want somebody's name. That's all. Plain and simple. We don't want the definition of that person's name. Okay, so ¿qué? Is always invariable. But that means that it stays the same depending on, like, it's not affected by a noun. If a noun is singular or plural, it stays the same. ¿Qué película vas a ver? Meaning, which movie are you going to see? Or, ¿qué películas te gustan más? Which movies do you like the best? But ¿cuál has a plural form? For example, if we, which one of the boys is your brother? Here, muchachos, right? And so, ¿cuál de los muchachos es tu hermano? We're looking for one person, which is the sibling of someone. So, ¿cuál? But if what we want to know is like who or how many of them are Spanish, then it's a plural. idea, and so it will have to be ¿cuáles? ¿Cuáles de los muchachos son españoles? We know that there's more than one person from Spain, and so the question needs to reflect that, the plural form. ¿Qué? So when we use ¿qué? It's immediately before a noun. ¿Qué? And then the noun here is movie. That's the difference. When we use ¿qué? We can use it, ¿qué? But it's gonna be when we are like using a noun. Here there's no way we can use ¿qué? Because there's a selection, and also because we have a preposition, de. There's no way we can use ¿qué? A little example. The question here is what is the most logical response to complete the dialogue? He wants to know where she lives, right? ¿Dónde vives? Where do you live? And so, where? That's a question. Options are, vivo en un apartamento, vivo con dos amigas. The question is where. So the one that makes more sense is like a place, right? And so the logical answer would be, vivo en un apartamento. Where do you live? I live in an apartment. So there's some two activities here that I've prepared for you to use these interrogative words. So you need to ask a logical question in order to receive this answer. Like, ¿cómo te llamas? So if I receive an answer like this, me llamo Eduardo, my name is Eduardo, the only logical question would be, what's your name? ¿Cómo te llamas? And so here, according to the statements we need to decide which one we're going to use. So this is the activity for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Ciao!